I'm getting a message for someone about a 10-year odyssey. Feels like you've been on quite the journey for 10 years. And I got beginning in 2018. So this is very specific. This could be a spiritual journey. It could be a journey in a relationship, in work, or relocating, or just finding yourself in some way. And it feels like it's going to be completed in 2028, which I know is a while from now. This could also be about the collective in general, or you personally. I think it's probably both. But what I got is the next 3 years, or the last 3 years. So we're coming up on the 2 years until completion. But these last 3 years until 2028 is when you've stepped into the circle. It feels like a sacred circle. There's some level of, it's protection, but it's kind of like a how do I say it? It's like I'm seeing it as like this beautiful iridescent kind of bubble around you, this protective veil of energy that you have because you've regained consciousness. Not that you've suddenly acquired new consciousness, but you've regained an old lost consciousness. This may be from lifetimes, from before you even entered this galaxy is what I'm getting. There's some consciousness now that's come to your awareness, and this is the completion of this 10-year odyssey, this 10-year journey you've been on. It's quite profound what's happening. And this journey has been full of mysteries, full of discoveries, full of omens and synchronicities and enlightenments and betrayals. It's really been quite the quest, is what I'm feeling. Okay, so I'm going to pull out cards and ask more about what this is all about and why you need to know about this journey that you've been on. But I am getting the sense that up until this year, there has been this feeling of having to navigate your way through, kind of wandering, not really sure where you're going or how you're going to return to where it is that you came from, you know, in your soul. It's like you're returning home to a part of your soul, it feels like. And now there's some kind of sure footing you have. You're in the inner circle. You're in this iridescent bubble. Bubble's not the right word because it's not like you are walled off from reality or something and you're in your own world and you don't understand what's going on. It's not that. It's just this energy I'm seeing, this circular energy around you. It's a circle. It's a sacred circle that you're in. And these next 2 years that are coming up are going to be huge for you. Okay, so I got the numbers 24, 12, 109, and 108. So let's see what comes out in the cards, what Spirit wants to say about this particular message. Let's see. What are we talking about here, Spirit? This journey. What do they need to know for their highest good and the highest good of all? The key, inner calling, clarity, and intention with this beautiful owl, number 26. Right, 2 plus 6, 8. The next 2 years, right? You're going into the 8th year. 2025 is almost done. So 2026 is the last 2 years until this whole thing is over. 2026, yeah. Okay, so this is a journey of inner calling, of hearing your inner calling, getting clarity, and setting your intentions. And I feel like the first bit of it was like kind of fumbling through the dark. You went through some trials and tribulations and you had some lessons, but it was kind of not really understanding, well, what? Not really understanding what? The Hound, loyalty, chains, and promises. The things that you had karmic contracts with that you needed to break, and the agreements you make in this world. So now this whole journey is about understanding how significant it is when you agree to something and when you disagree to something energetically. Where is your loyalty? And who has loyalty towards you? There's chains that you've been breaking, and promises maybe that others made to you that weren't kept, or that you made to others and you didn't keep. There's a greater understanding of what it means to give your word. You know, the energy behind our words is pure magic. Wow, the Hound. Look at this picture with the sword. So this journey has been about becoming conscious again around how significant it is, the energetic effects, maybe the karma, or the reality that gets created by the choices we make, but not just choices, but by the promises we make, or the promises that are made to us, that we agree to honor, that we agree to believe. This is a lesson, or a journey, I should say, about loyalty and breaking chains. Okay, let's get one of these cards. So this feels like to me then something's going to be rewritten in 2028. What happened in 2018 for you? Was there a promise that was made to you? Was there some kind of loyalty that happened? Let's see. Tell me, Spirit, what is it that we need to know here? I want it to fall out on the table. Letting go and movement. Well, you're letting go of a lot here. It's not just one thing. There's something that has been with you, kind of chained to you energetically in a sense. Multiple things perhaps, thought forms, emotions, memories, whatever they are, obstacles even, that, I don't know, somehow you were holding on to it, or it was following you around, but you're releasing these things, which then turns into some kind of transformation for you. I mean, that makes sense, but I feel like I need more, like, this sounds kind of general, too general for me, Spirit, too general, and too maybe cliche at some level too. So can we get more into this? What is this? What is this? What could I use? What is this that collective is letting go of? The journey. Yeah, the journey's over. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so in the next 2 so hold on. So you made a promise to yourself to go on a soul journey. You did. You said, I'm gonna begin this long quest, this odyssey, by getting involved in this or learning from that lesson. I'm going on a long journey. That's what I'm doing. And you've been very resilient throughout this journey. And you told yourself, I'm not going to abandon this journey until I get the key. And the key is clarity for your inner calling and understanding how powerful your choices and your intentions are and the reality it creates for you. This is what your soul signed up for in the last 10 years or the last 8 years. And now, in the next 2 years, you are understanding something that you set out to understand, and therefore you can let go of this journey. Does that make sense? So you're going to arrive. Wherever you've been trying to go this whole time, you're going to arrive in the next 2 years. And it has to do with this loyalty thing. Okay, tell me more about the loyalty. The Weaver, rediscovery and transition. There's this message about coming back home to yourself, remembering who you really are. Okay, anything else I could get, Spirit? The Lovers and the Sleepwalker. Yeah, because there's some promise, some contract that was made that you weren't fully aware of. Meaning maybe you didn't realize the karma that was going to go along with it, or maybe you were just going along with something that you didn't actually sign up for, but someone convinced you that you did. Like, this is the way you should live your life, or this is how you need to act and need to be. There's something here, a promise, maybe that you just, what's the word? I'm seeing key, and then this card is flipped in reverse. That there's a promise that you didn't see. What does that mean, though, Spirit? Exile. What does that mean? There's a promise you didn't see. Fire in the Poet. Grief. The Adversary, Door of Dreams, Full of Hope, the Weaver again. It could be, I'm not sure yet. Maybe we should just get to the tarot. But, well, let's confirm that. Yeah, marriage coming out. There's a promise that was made to you by someone that was broken, but you still believed in. And your belief in this promise, even though it was broken, set you on a journey. And I feel like Spirit is telling you here that in the next few years you're going to release yourself from this, but it's like you're not going to feel beholden to this energy. You've been kind of sleepwalking through this contract, but it's because you agreed to something. I don't know if this is making sense. Okay. I really don't know. Okay, let's get into the tarot. Let's get clear about what we're saying. Right? Like, okay, let's translate this to a collective message for a second, because I feel like it might help me make more sense of the energy, even if it's about just you and your personal situation. So, for example, it's like the collective was promised something, and we went along with it. We said, okay, I'm going to agree to believe in that promise. I'm going to stay loyal to this person, to this thought form, to this way of life, whatever it is, because I believe that the promise is sincere. I believe that this thing will actually come through for me. And then the promise ends up being broken, but we still kind of keep going along with it as if it never was broken. You know, we continue to sleepwalk through the karmic contract without realizing that we can unchain ourselves from it, that we no longer need to be loyal to something that hasn't been loyal to us. And in that rediscovery of truth, really, of understanding what's happened, we not only wake up, but we return to ourselves. We get a key to return to ourselves and who we really are, and the power we have to not give our fate over to broken promises that someone else has made, but to create our own destiny in a sense, or to, I'm hearing, be the keeper of our own land, be the keeper of our own soul. So you're letting go of the journey that you signed up for, the promise, you know, that you've been kind of living through. Now, it's complicated because the journey itself has served you. You've learned quite a bit, and it's giving you a path home. It's not like it was aimless and going nowhere. It is returning you to a place that's going to be familiar and feel like you have total clarity on your inner calling. But it's been a wonky ass journey where there's been many shadows, things hiding in the shadows, unknowns, betrayals. And maybe that's been a little bit confusing. Like, why is this my life? Like, why does this keep happening? And, it's because the original promise was broken. And you could have been thinking that it wasn't really. Does this make sense? I think it will to whoever needs to hear it. Okay. So let's see. The High Priestess for your overall energy. I like that. The Key. Hidden knowledge. Let's see. Let's get all the cards. I don't know what this is, but I'm hearing I ain't no pansy. I don't know. Maybe pansies mean something to you. If someone called you a pansy, I don't know. Sometimes I really have to think about whether I should say some things. Sound ridiculous or not. Okay, the Fool. But I usually just say it anyway. The Fool. Okay, this is the new journey. The Ace of Wands. Temperance. Yeah, this has been a healing journey. What was it in 2018 that sparked it? That's how you can kind of track where you're at with things. There was something new that came into your life, a spark for something, set you on this journey of healing. And it's a long one. 10 years is what I got. Yeah, and there's been some shadiness, some betrayals, some things you've had to learn and overcome. And I feel like the whole lesson is for you to know that you can change the course of your direction at any moment in time. Regardless of the promise, regardless of the feeling of being chained to something, you can change that journey, the direction, or the contract, or break something, like at any time. I feel like that's the whole lesson. And it's going to be important in 2028, I'm not sure why, for you to say, I'm done with this, I'm getting off the ride, or I can go for something now and not be so fearful, because now I know if it doesn't work out for me, I can change my mind. I can put a stop to it. It's having more faith in your ability to direct your life and the outcomes that happen, and to understand how important your perception and your will is when it comes to manifestation and your fate. There's no more sleepwalking. You're going to be wide awake. You already are. You're in that this protective circle. The last 3 years of this 10-year journey is the awakening. Okay, so High Priestess for your overall energy. Let's see a layer deeper. I'm so curious about 2028 now. Heartache. Healing. This is a healing journey. There's a deep knowing, a hidden knowledge you've had about how to heal your heart that is now coming to your intuitive awareness or psychic awareness. Tell me more about the heartache. Mask, the devil. Okay. The doe. Yeah, you're not powerless to this. Reincarnation and high tides. You may be, and it came out in reverse. You may be feeling swamped, but the shore is within sight. Just keep swimming along. Right, that's like, okay, this journey has an end. You know, it has a shore, and that's the realization. That's the awakening. Like, I don't need to be on this boat forever. I don't need to be journeying through this heartbreak, this heartache forever. I don't need to keep meeting pirates that board my ship, that are the devil masked as people who are helping me sail along the rough seas. No, I can decide to anchor this ship, get off the ship. Forget keep going on the high tides. I'm going to just go to calm waters, to land, right? That's why the land came through. And not feel so helpless. This is a reincarnation that you're having in this lifetime, right? You don't need to literally die and come back to be reincarnated. You can have a soul awakening in this lifetime and experience actual reincarnation of your mind, of your heart, of your energy. And that's what's happening. So 2028, I feel like you're going to be someone that you really are at a deeper level. Not saying you're not now, but it's going to feel different, more empowering. I'm hearing justified. It's going to feel justified. 2120. 2112, I saw mirrored numbers. You want to see Wolfgang? Actually, we'll just see how. We'll just see if he goes again. Knight of Swords, interesting. Knight of Swords for what you don't see coming. This is a swift decision. See, what you don't see coming is that in the next 2 years, your decisions to alter things, to change things, to break change, to cut cords, to decide that, hey, this is to recognize disloyalty and to know where to put your loyalty and know when to promise and not to promise. All of these things happen so quickly. It's not this long, drawn out learning process. This is like, I know what moves to make and I don't need to waste any time thinking about it or overthinking about it or ruminating about things. I know I can cut this chain tomorrow. I know I can see the truth of a broken promise now. So things are going to move fast in the next 2 years. If things have been feeling like they're moving slow, it's going to pick up. Because of you, you're going to see the land, you're going to see the shore and say, I'm sailing in that direction. No more kind of wandering around. And I wrote that down, wandering in omens. No more wandering around in the high tides in the sea, looking for the omens and the signs and the synchronicities to give me direction. I see the land. I know which way I'm going. And therefore you go quicker. One more on what you don't see coming. The window and protection. Yeah, that's that bubble, right? It's kind of like, what is this window, bubble, translucent, iridescent thing I'm seeing? Why the window, Spirit? Why did you show me the window, though? Pursuit. Yeah, okay, so something you've been looking out the window, admiring, seeing some destiny you want to move towards. Now you're feeling protected enough to actually open the door and go through the portal to pursue it. So there's something you've had your eye on, and this feels like a feeling. It also feels like I want to be myself. Like, how do I say that? It's like, I want to be the best version of myself, whatever that is. I don't know. But it's like this feeling like I'm not living up to who I know I really am. And you've been looking at your higher self out the window for a long time being like, just, that's where I want to be. And now this feeling of awareness about your choices and what's real and all of these things, and that this long journey can come to an end, gives you an understanding of how protected you are to pursue that beautiful self that you see yourself as. Okay, buddy. Maybe you're going to help me transmute some of this energy so I can be more eloquent and articulate. Not that you speak or anything. Oh, why is your heart beating so fast, buddy? What's going on? This is Wolfgang, if you don't know. He's a Siamese. Duh. Okay. All right, Wolfie, you're distracting me. The death card for your opportunity. Transformation. And there's these little wolves here. Maybe you're going to have a familiar, a companion that's with you on this transition. Transformation. The Weaver, rediscovery. That's your opportunity. Death, right? To bring an end to this 10-year odyssey, this 10-year cycle. Maybe you want to look at some like the Odyssey mythology. There could be a message in there, the Greek mythology. Or Homer wrote the Odyssey, right? So there could be something about that story that has a message for you. But I feel like you don't need it, okay? The Tomb. This is really putting an end to something, putting some death in the tomb. Something is going to be buried. The Moon. Something is going to be buried. This is the opportunity, so I'm taking it as a positive. Dystopia. What do I say about that, though? How do I say that? High Priestess of Water. It's an emotional shift. It's an energy shift that you go through. This feeling of like the world is doomed, or my life is doomed, or my love life is doomed, or my work, blah, blah, whatever it is, right? This dystopia that I see around me, this fear and worry and concern I have for everything. There's a shift and a transition that you have in your whole perspective. And you get the key to unlock the door to a new world, to a different path, to your ideal self, to your higher self. And all those fears, you bury them. You lock them up. And not in a way where you repress them and you push them into the shadow, because this is in your opportunity. It's more like you don't allow them to steer the ship anymore. You don't allow them to tell you you're on an endless journey sailing in the great ocean seas to nowhere. You know, this is you taking back control. This is also you allowing something that remains a secret to you, that remains unknown to you, maybe why a promise was broken, or why someone or something was disloyal to you. This is you saying, I'm going to bury that whole enigma that has been following me around like a ball and chain and creating a dystopic energy in my life. I'm going to bury that now. Success. Congratulations. And that's been part of the lesson, part of the journey, is that you get to decide when it stops following you around, when it stops haunting you, when it stops misdirecting you. And you do decide, you do, like on a deep level, you depart. I'm hearing you depart from something, and it's a success. Congratulations. That's your opportunity. I feel like this reading is very spiritual in nature. We're talking about energy here and consciousness, but if you want to apply it to something more literal that's going on, then there is some kind of literal success that you could have too in the next couple years, like big time. Okay, strength for the challenge. Well, courage is still required in the next 2 years. The journey's not over yet. Why is the journey not over yet? The Poet. Falling. Otherworldly, the seeker, and reflection. Well, you're still looking for something within yourself. I want to even say you're learning to live a more creative life. It's like you need to fall for yourself, maybe fall in love with yourself, or it's like a trust fall. You know, you need to do that trust fall a little bit longer, like go deeper. The further you fall, the more trust you need to have, right? It's not like a little jump you're making a big leap into this creative life that's also very empowered. So the journey's not over yet, and you need more courage and strength, or you need to continue having courage and strength, because you're still doing a little bit of a trust fall with yourself. You're still also imagining what another world could be like. You see the shore, but maybe you're not fully sure what's on the shore, what's on land, what the world has to offer you yet. So there could be still some manifestation you're doing and really understanding who you are and what you're seeking in this lifetime, in the next couple years. But it doesn't feel nearly as arduous as the last 8 years have been. Or 7 for some of you. Those were rough. Not all the time, but this is definitely in a different zone now, even though there's still a lot of reflection and strength required. Okay, the 2 of Swords for your advice. The decisions, right? The choices, the promises. Now you want to leave? Come here. You don't want to leave, do you? Let's see. The choices. The choices. The ghost. What are you going to allow to keep haunting you, and what are you going to bury? Yeah, it's like you've been sleepwalking through something, your life maybe, or an aspect of your life, to a promise, like because a promise has been haunting you, or with a ghost energy, the ghost of the past maybe, or a ghost of yourself. You could even have felt like you were a ghost to yourself. The Hangman, keeping you stuck in this state of always needing to see things. Okay, I think I'm going to move from there because I feel like it's a little, we've talked about it. So, the outcome, and I'm going to say in 2 years from now, since this is a long trajectory we're discussing. King of Swords and the 2 of Wands. That's it. 2028. And you're working your way up there now. Like, it's happening now too. But by the end of this journey, and my throat chakra is getting a little tickly, your throat chakra is fully healed. You're the King of Swords. Those decisions and those paths and those choices you need to make, clarity of mind when making them. You're so clear. You know what's right, what's wrong, what to promise to, what not to. This is exquisite. There's eagle energy that's here for you. Maybe you want to meditate on that. It's in this card I'm seeing. But this is somebody who has the key, who knows their inner calling, who has clarity, who has set intentions and knows how to go after them. This is not an indecisive energy. This is not a wanderer. This is someone who has a path and is determined to walk it. I'm hearing against all odds. So I guess the message here is embrace this time. Even the times where you feel like, damn, I'm still not where I want to be, or I still feel kind of lost, or I'm worried about everything around me. Embrace that you're still going through this journey, but you're in the tail end of it. You're in a protective energy now, in a different kind of protective energy. I'm hearing the skies are clearing. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that helped. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.